AV in your ears, that's Ambush Vid, giving you this audio visual down the most interesting street in the world. With my boy Steve, Fascination Street, you already know. Let's get it when you whip in the Fascination Street. What do you...
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. It's Carol Baskin, and you are listening to Fascination Street.
AV in your ears, that's Ambush Vid, giving you this audio visual down the most interesting street in the world. With my boy Steve, Fascination Street, you already know. Let's get it when you whip in the Fascination Street. What do you...
Welcome back, Streetwalkers. In all the years doing this, I've been fairly good at guessing email addresses for some folks. And so I tried to guess the email address for Christopher Storer from The Bear. Christopher Storer is the co-creator and I think maybe the showrunner for the FX television series The Bear. This is not that Chris Storer. This episode is with Christopher Storer. He said the wrong Christopher Storer, but I disagree. I think he is the right Christopher Storer. So confusion was had, fun ensued, and we decided to do this interview. Again, this is not the Christopher Storer who created the television show The Bear. This is Chris Storer, quote, just a regular guy living in a no-name town in Kentucky. But, like I say all the time, I think everybody has a fascinating story, and I love to share them. And this episode is no different. In this episode, we talk about Chris starting his own business when he was 12 years old in a very, very unique space, and how that business informed what he was going to be doing for the foreseeable future. That was some years ago, and he has been in the same industry that he started that business in for the past years. All of this career, for the most part, started when he was 12 years old. I think it's a fascinating tale of how when you find something that you really love and are good at, the money will follow. So we do talk a bit about that. We talk about some of his other jobs that are on the path to where he is now. And then we talk a little bit about his brother-in-law, who is a comedian named Josh Sneed, who encouraged him to go ahead and do this interview, even though he wasn't the guy I was looking for. We do have some fun in this episode. Chris is a great guy. He's so relaxed. We talk about bourbon. We talk about work-life balance. We talk about comedy. We do talk a little bit about The Bear, but overall, we have a blast. It's just two dudes talking, having a good time, getting to know each other, and giggling every now and then. Chris really isn't on social media all that much, except on maybe the Facebook, as he says. So even though he doesn't want you to, I say you go follow him. Sneak up on a fella, peek over his shoulder and see what he's up to. Tell him you heard this episode. And if you happen to need the very unique service that his company provides, reach out. I'm sure he can help you out. And this is my conversation with Chris Storer, not Christopher Storer from The Bear, but Chris Storer from Kentucky.
Prepare to be fascinated. Prepare to be fascinated. Prepare to be fascinated.
Ladies and gentlemen, streetwalkers, if you will, in the 8 years I've been doing this, almost 500 episodes, I have been fairly good at guessing the email addresses of some people. I was watching The Bear, created by Christopher Storer, and I was like, you know what? I should probably get that dude on the show. So I guessed his email address. And ladies and gentlemen, this is an exclusive interview with a different Christopher Storer. That's right. I reached out, Christopher Storer. I said, hey, man, if you're the dude, let's do the thing. And then this dude reached out, was like, I'm not the dude. And I was like, well, let's do the thing anyway. And he was game. So welcome to Fascination Street Podcast. Chris Storer, what's up, dude?
Hey, man, how's it going?
It is going all right. So, Chris, what I like to do is I like to start from the beginning. It helps us understand how the guests got from where they were to where they are. So where were you born and raised, man? Where'd you grow up?
All right. A little town called Erlanger, Kentucky, about 15 minutes south of Cincinnati, Ohio.
Erlanger. I feel like I've been there. Why would I have been there? Have I ever been to Cincinnati? Yes. Do I want to be in Cincinnati? No. Okay, so I used to live in Louisville for about a year and a half.
Okay.
And that is really far from Erlanger.
Yeah, it's a little over an hour. So I live a little south now, like an hour from Lexington, an hour from Louisville, and then probably 25 minutes from Cincinnati. So it's kind of a cool place to be as far as living in the middle of nowhere, but being close to some big cities.
So I actually did an interview in person in Cincinnati. It's changed a little bit, but at the time there was a speakeasy. Can't remember what it was called. But there was a speakeasy that looked like a video rental store.
Oh, cool.
And if you walk in and, blah, blah, the code, whatever, you have to figure out which movie to pull off the shelf. And then this door opens and there's this bar back there. And the bar was a Quentin Tarantino themed speakeasy.
Oh, nice.
And I had first heard about it from listening to Kevin Smith talk about it on his podcast. And then Adam Carolla talked about it on his podcast. And I was like, well, shit, my wife is building a hospital not far from there. So I'll just go there. It was amazing. It's still there, but now I think it's a tiki bar.
Okay.
I think it's still a speakeasy, but it's just not Quentin Tarantino themed. You should check it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably be easier if I knew the name of it, but
That's what Google's for, man.
that is what Google's for. So you're growing up in Erlanger, Kentucky. What was it that you wanted to be? What was the plan? What did you want to be when you grew up?
That's kind of wild. I have an older brother, Matt, who's 7 years older than me.
Is he a comedian?
He is not. That's my brother-in-law. So
Okay.
talk about Matt here, and then we'll get back to Josh because that's kind of how we got here, I think. But no, I really looked up to my brother. He went to Purdue to be an electrical engineer.
Actual Purdue or ooey pooey?
Actual Purdue, not ooey pooey. And he was out in 4 years. So hats off to my brother there. Yeah, so I was like, hey, big brother's smart. He likes doing this stuff. I'm going to be an electrical engineer. Again, he's 7 years older than me. I was about 12 and my mom collected these little porcelain houses, Apartment 56, like Christmas houses. They make snow babies.
Did you say snow babies?
Snow babies, man.
What the hell's a snow baby?
Oh, you don't know what a snow baby? That actually kind of sounds dirty now that I'm saying it. So, so anyways, so she collected these things. She stuffed them all over the house. Christmas came and she'd like open up all the closets and stuff. And we would have like 20 of the same little Christmas house. So I was 12. My brother was co-oping for a company.
What does that mean?
So like over the summer, while I was at Purdue, he was working. I don't even know if he was getting paid, but it was kind of like job experience during the summer.
Like a work study thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was a little geek growing up. And so I read all these books on like how to program that he had. And I taught myself how to program.
How to program computers?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so back then, like Excel was complicated. This is like 1994 or something. My mom didn't understand Excel. So I wrote a program where she could just put in her Christmas houses when she bought them and keep track of them.
So that she wouldn't keep buying duplicates?
Yeah, pretty much. And so my brother comes home one day from his co-op job and sees it. And he was like, oh my God, we could sell this.
Sell the program?
Yeah, the program. He was like, we got to polish it up. We need to market it. We need to do all that stuff, but we could sell this software. So he really polished it up. It's going to date myself, but back then digital cameras weren't a thing. So we found a guy that had a really nice, like old school camera. We found some other people that had like every single one of these little Christmas houses. And they let us come take a photograph of every single one of them. And back then you could take your film. Younger people listening to this don't even know what I'm talking about, but you could take your film from the camera. It's your memory card today. You could have it developed on a Kodak photo CD, they called it. You would have a digital picture then. So we put together this software package. It was like 14 floppy disks until we switched to CD-ROM because of all the pictures. And it had a picture of each house. You could keep track of how many you had, how much you bought them for. Back then, these things would like retire. They'd stop making them and the value would shoot up. So we would update it every 6 months with new values. So yeah, I had a little bit of an odd childhood in it. Like starting at 12, my brother's in college, so he couldn't go to all the shows. A lot of times my mom and I would fly out on a Friday night to these Christmas house shows all over the US.
And this is, what'd you say, Studio what?
Department 56 is what they were called.
Department 56.
Yeah.
I was going to call it Studio 54. Department 56.
Yeah.
So hold on. So this program, yes, it was an Excel thing, but it was specific to this collection of Department 56 houses, this whole collection. Okay.
Yeah, it was. And so like back then, to put it in perspective, eBay, I don't think was a thing yet or just starting out. And I mentioned like these houses would retire. and they would go through the roof value wise, and people wanted like every single one of them. So if you wanted one and you didn't have one, you couldn't go on eBay. You couldn't go on Amazon. That stuff didn't exist. So Department 56 had these huge, like, I don't even know what they called them, but like it was like a big show, and it was, you could buy, sell, trade. They would introduce new products there.
Like in person?
Yeah, in person. So yeah, like my mom and I would hop on a flight and, we'd go to Minneapolis, Tennessee, New York, just wherever the shows were. And we would set up a booth. We would rent a laptop because laptops were too expensive back then. And then we would take a computer monitor.
I like that you're flying all over the country, 2 people, but a laptop is too expensive.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. Like back then it was like $3,000, man. It was crazy. So, but yeah, I would set up, this 12-year-old behind a booth. I would sell the software to people walking by.
So when you're selling this, are you selling them 15 floppy disks? Like you're just selling them a whole stack of shit?
Yeah. And so when we first started, it was crazy. We never knew how many to take, right? And we always like kind of risked the floppy disk getting erased by the airport scanners. So
I forgot about that.
yeah, right. Like nobody remembers this stuff.
Yeah, you had to be so careful with floppy disks because you could just store them wrong and they'd be ruined.
Oh yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, we would take boxes of blanks, and then the night before the show, I'd stay up copying from the master discs on this rented laptop like all night making, and I would only have like 5 copies to physically sell the next day. And a lot of times what would happen was we would sell 10, and then I would have to tell people like, hey, come back the next day. We'll have your copy ready the next day.
What were you selling them for? Do you remember?
I think it was $44.95, and then I think we sold updates, so you could buy a disc with the updated data, pricing values, and like new houses.
And would you just mail that update to them?
Yeah, we just mailed the update. So that was funny too. Back then, Priority Mail had just come out in the town I live in now, where my dad worked at the time. Tiny little post office. They got the like #1 Priority Mail sales or something in the region for a couple months because we would mail all of our software out through them. Yeah.
You're selling this set of 15 floppy disks for $45.
Yep.
This doesn't sound like a money-making opportunity. Like it sounds like you're losing your ass. You're renting booths, you're renting hotel rooms, you're flying across the country, and you're selling 5 of these a day. Like what's happening right now?
Like I said, 5, right? But like the first couple shows was slow, but no, we made good money, especially once you get to the CD-ROMs. And so, initially, yes, I was staying up and copying the floppies. Once we got, I guess, to the point where it was like, hey, this is viable, we paid to have them mass duplicated. And I don't even remember the cost at the time. I do remember, I feel like when we switched to CDs, we got a CD duplicated, like a 4-color sleeve insert, and then shrink wrapped. And I think we paid like $1 for them.
Jewel case and everything?
Yeah, it was cheap, like if you bought in volume. So once we got to the CDs, it was way easier. And then to your point, like the initial program took us a bunch of time. It wasn't like we had a lot going on anyways.
Yeah, you're 12.
Yeah, it was just like updates, and the updates were super easy.
So I'm going to interrupt you a lot.
Yeah.
So when you're selling, by the time you get to the CD-ROM and you're able to get this thing like produced for $1, are you still selling them for $45?
Yeah.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah. So it was neat. I got to travel essentially for free. So like, that was something I didn't really realize that I'd taken for granted, but I flew a lot as a teenager to all kinds of different places. And, I would get to high school later and have friends that had never flown before. And I'm like, oh, wow. Like,
Yeah, I can't imagine Erlanger, Kentucky is a hotbed for the travel enthusiast.
No.
Sounds like the kind of place where people grow up and die in the same house they were born in.
You're right on track there. Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Which is quaint and beautiful. It has its own charm, but that's different than traveling all over the place.
Right.
And so this was Matt. You and Matt were doing this?
Yeah, my brother Matt and I. So actually kind of a cool thing happened at the end of it, that Department 56 company was requiring anybody that sold accessories or anything related to their product to have $1 million worth of business insurance or something crazy, or they were going to like sue you.
Man, I hate when people get involved like that. Like, mind your business. I'm actually helping people collect your thing. Shut up.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so my brother was graduating, had his job lined up and, was ready to go. And at this point, I'm in high school. And so it just didn't make sense to continue. But we did have a couple cool conversations. We talked to, I think it was Topps, the baseball card company, because they wanted us to do the software for them. And then I remember having the calls. I think my brother handled those calls, but I remember talking to Lionel Trains.
Oh, wow.
And I don't remember who. I don't know if it was the CEO, but
It was Lionel himself.
yeah, being like, 15, 16 years old and talking business with this guy.
There should have been a Shark Tank back then.
No, man, right? And like,
You'd be a gazillionaire.
Yeah.
Wait, are you a gazillionaire?
I'm not a gazillionaire. No,
Oh, okay,
no.
all right. Okay.
But
cool.
no, so it was cool. Got a lot of experience. It really kind of kicked off me being into computers.
Well, yeah, you saw those dollar signs. You're like, all I did was monkey with this computer for a little bit when I was 12, and now I'm rich. That's awesome.
So I had a side business through high school, building and fixing people's computers.
Like a repair person?
Yeah, I built computers from the ground up when, that was more of a thing back then. People brought me their computers, they were broken. And so, yeah, like I did that all through high school. I ended up fixing computers at school. Like I was the computer guy, right? Like everybody just knew I was the computer guy.
You know what's funny? Do you watch The Bear?
Don't. I so need to watch it.
There's a character on there. His name is The Computer.
Nice. I definitely need to watch it. So yeah, like in high school, I'm sitting there like, hey, my brother's doing this electrical engineer thing. That's what I want to do. Like you don't really know what jobs are. So in my mind, I knew I couldn't sit and program for 8 hours a day. Like my brain turns to mush and it wasn't fun. And so I guess I was like, I don't want to be a programmer. And I guess in my mind, like that was the only job I could have in computers. So I was like, electrical engineer, that's what I'm going to do. I worked at a small little company here where I live now in Walton, Kentucky. In high school, we had a work experience program and they stuck me in the electrical engineering department. I did electrical engineering things for about 2 weeks until they figured out I was good with computers. And then I was basically their alternate computer guy. But I also kind of figured out like you could do stuff in computers or IT that wasn't just programming. So from there, I actually went to the University of Kentucky and I got mono. I got crazy sick and had to withdraw halfway through my first semester, which honestly, the way everything worked out, I think it was for the best. But I came home, I started taking some night classes when I felt better. And then I applied to work at Clarion again, but I was just going to work in the warehouse. Like I'm going to work in the warehouse, do what I can do, make sure I'm feeling okay while I'm taking these night classes. And they saw my resume and they're like, wait a minute, aren't you that computer guy? I said, yeah. And they had just fired their IT guy. And they said, hey, we'd like to hire you. Here's the salary. Here's the benefits.
You're like, no. I was just going to hot boxes.
Right. That's what I was like, wait a minute.
They're like, no. Here's a corner office.
That's kind of what happened, man. I mean, I was 19 and given basically like a $50,000 job with full benefits.
At 19? Now, I don't know how old you are, and we don't talk about age here, but that's got to be a few years ago.
Yep.
And 50 grand, I mean, 50 grand is a decent amount now, but 50 grand a few years ago, oh my gosh, that's like 90 grand right now.
Yeah, that's the other funny part. So my dad has been a lifetime educator. So he was teacher, principal, superintendent. Everybody in my family has their degrees other than me, the black sheep. So it was very much kind of like, hey, you really need to go to college. You really need to go to college. They didn't want me to take this job. But I remember, having the conversation finally like, Dad, here's what they offered me. He was like, okay, you know what? That's fine. That's fine. Go ahead.
So did they not want you to take this job because you would settle?
Maybe. I think they just thought if I went to college and got the education that maybe I could do even better things.
They're like, if you take this job for this money, then you're really never going to go to college because you're never going to see the value in it. And did you ever go to college?
I didn't.
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors. Let's get back into it.
Did you finish your night classes?
That semester of night classes I did. I later ended up at a job where, as crazy as it sounds, they put me in a management role and then decided, hey, if we're going to keep you in this management role, you have to have a bachelor's degree. So I started taking night classes again then, and that company got acquired. And then the new company decided that college education wasn't worth anything and they wouldn't reimburse for it. So it was kind of a lot of up and downs, but no, I don't have my degree. I won't talk age, but yeah, at this point, I'm not going back.
I love that. Do you remember at the very beginning when I said, "Where are you from?" and you said Erlanger, Kentucky, and I said, "Man, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Why do I feel like I've been there?" Turns out I have been there.
Okay.
My wife was building a hospital, and so I went to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
The hospital my wife built from the ground up is in Erlanger, Kentucky.
So it's probably St. Elizabeth.
It is a psychiatric hospital. We're not going to say the name of it because they owe
Okay.
me money. No, we're not going to say the name of it because we don't do that. But it is a behavioral health hospital in Erlanger, and she built it
Okay.
from the ground up. Like, my wife's a super badass.
Oh, nice.
So what a small world. I've been to your town or where you grew up.
Well, there you go.
It sounded so familiar. I had to look it up while I was talking to you. I was like, what?
Yeah.
You take this IT job, you're running the roost, you're 19 years old and making it rain at every strip club in the Cincinnati area. Are you still living with your parents at 19?
Was.
So you're 19 years old, you're making more than your dad, and you're living in their house. I hope they were charging you rent.
They did not. They were actually very good about it. I did do, so instead of the strip clubs at my employer, we had a discount through some of the auto manufacturers. So I went and bought a brand new Infiniti, which I don't recommend to any 19-year-olds with money. But at the time, it seemed like a good idea. And so I did that. I got to do some fun things because of that job. But no, mom and dad were great. I stayed there for about a year. And then I actually built my own house, which, so I have a 19-year-old now. And, one of those things that he stresses about and I stress about is like, how the hell are you ever going to afford a house? And I think about what I was able to do at 19, which wasn't really that long ago, and what the landscape looks like now. And I'm just like, geez.
But also, kind of like from there to now, like half the jobs that people have now didn't exist when you were 19.
No, yeah, you're exactly right. And even in the IT world, some of my jobs have had me go talk to high school kids about their education and what they're going to do, and that you can not take college classes and still be successful, but you should take harder classes in high school and push yourself because those skills are useful. That was always one of my examples of one of the things that I spent a lot of my career doing was virtualization.
What does that mean?
So the concept is like you take one big server and you virtualize a bunch of little servers and put it on there. And so instead of having like this massive data center with all these big physical servers, you've got this one or a couple boxes that run all these servers instead. It like drastically changed the landscape in IT. It kind of really became to be at the start of my career. But yeah, I spent a good decade plus of my career really hands-on with that kind of technology. And that wasn't even a thing the first 2 or 3 years I was in IT. Nobody had heard of it. That wasn't a thing. So yeah, to your point, the landscape changes and the jobs that are out there today may not be there tomorrow, but there'll be a new one that we didn't think of.
Yeah, I mean, technology always pushes forward and we leave things behind, but we always create new things. Like, this is going to sound dumb, but we used to get heating oil from whales. Like that used to be a real industry, was whaling for oil. And we invented electricity and natural gas. We didn't invent natural gas or electricity, but we discovered those and how to use them and petroleum products. And so now whales get to live, but those whalers had to go find another job. You know what I mean? And all the people who processed that whale blubber into oil, they had to find new jobs. And they did, because that's what we do. It's no different than typewriter or saddle repair. Like, people have to move on, right?
Right.
So yeah, we're creating new stuff all the time, even though we're getting rid of stuff. And it seems scary because, everybody's always talking about automation. It's going to take away jobs and blah, blah, blah. Well, people have to operate those machines. People have to maintain those machines. And also there's all of the other ancillary things that are going to pop up around it. So as scary as it is for the upcoming kids, I think everybody's going to be fine because that's just the human spirit. My kids are way older than your kids. I mean, it's still a struggle, buying a house and all that other stuff. But having gone through that with them, where the landscape of employment and the future of employment is sort of changing, and, everybody was terrified around that. They haven't been 19 for well over a decade, and everybody's doing just fine. Everybody's going to find their way. Gotcha. Do you still work at that same place?
No. So I spent about 5 years there. It was typical in my industry, to get raises and things like that. You couldn't stay too long. So spent about 5 years there. I did 5 years at a company that distributed textbooks. That's a little important later. And then 6 years in the steel industry.
What does that mean?
I worked at a steel mill.
Where?
It was Gallatin Steel. It's now Nucor Steel Gallatin.
But I mean, what city? Where is it?
Oh, Gallatin County, Kentucky. Man, it's on the river. What is that? Gent, Kentucky, I think.
Okay. I got a buddy who worked for like 30 years at U.S. Steel in I think Gary, Indiana, somewhere around there.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
It would have been really, really weird if you worked at the same place.
Oh yeah, it would have been wild. But yeah, no, I liked that.
But what did you do for a steel company? IT, same thing?
Yeah, it was same thing. IT. What was kind of cool to me was just the amount of IT in a modern steel mill. I guess I hadn't thought about that or realized that, but computers control the entire process.
My future son-in-law, he is an IT guy at a mushroom farm.
Oh, see, now I bet that's awesome.
Right. So you wouldn't realize, you wouldn't think that there's much IT, but the whole thing is computerized, like everything about it. It's all kinds of mushrooms. To your point, like you don't really think about the things that are in the industry that you don't know about.
Yeah.
Who would have thought there was a lot of IT in the steel business?
Right. I loved it there. I had some really awesome coworkers. There were some really great people there. That was the company. Unfortunately, I mentioned we got acquired and just wasn't a good fit after that. So, I'd mentioned the book company and that was important. So when I worked there, we had a software package that we used to run the warehouse. And I did a lot of like kind of custom add-ons to that, reports, and I worked pretty deeply with the manufacturer of that software. So when the mill didn't look like it was going to be, the place I was going to retire from anymore, I called them up and said, hey, I'm kind of looking to work somewhere new. And the president of the company said, name your price.
Of the textbook company?
Well, no, of the warehouse management software company. That software I used at the textbook company. I kind of had a relationship with some of those people from years back.
He said, name your price?
Yeah. He was like, tell me what you want.
Did you? I don't want numbers, but did you name your price?
I named my price. He said, sounds reasonable. Had not met everybody that worked at the company. I'd met, 3 or 4 of them, talked to probably another 5 on the phone. And he said, you know what? I do want you to be totally comfortable. So why don't I fly you out here, meet the rest of the team, make sure this is what you want to do.
Where is here?
Somerset, New Jersey.
Okay.
I flew out and met the rest of the team. I've been there 10 years, about right now. So
you got to name your price 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Nice. And he was like, every time 6 months came around, it was time for a race. He was like, no, you name your price, dummy.
So actually it works out. I mentioned they're based out of Jersey, but I live in Kentucky. I still live in Kentucky. So I've worked from home for a decade now.
Before that was even a thing.
Yeah, before even COVID times. And so that's been awesome having, I mentioned I have a 19-year-old. I also have a 14-year-old.
So you got to work from home starting when your kids were 9 and 4?
Yeah.
That is amazing. What a treat. Like, what a gift.
Yeah. The work-life balance has been amazing. So it's one of those, if they call me at 10 o'clock at night and a customer needs something and I'm up till 2 a.m., it is what it is. And that's rare, but they know they can rely on me. But on the flip side, if, when the 6-year-old had a school play at, 1 p.m. on a Thursday, it was no questions asked. Go be there for your kid.
Wow. What a good company.
Yeah. I love it. Love my coworkers.
Do we say their name or do we don't say their name?
We can say their name. Yeah. We're small. It's QSSI.
QSSI?
Yep. We make a warehouse management system. So it's software that runs warehouses. It sounds boring, but it's kind of fun. Got customers all over the world, but primarily the US. And kind of like you mentioned with your future son-in-law, it's across all industries. So
this really started, like your journey really did start when you were 12.
Yeah.
And getting into this computer thing for your mom.
It really did. Yeah. It's crazy. It all kind of goes back to that.
It's like that nature finds a way thing, right? Like this is the thing that you're passionate about and you're good at. And it just happens to be like a through line for your whole adult working life. That's amazing.
It is. And, I've even figured out kind of through time that not everybody gets to do what they love. And that's huge.
Almost nobody.
Well, yeah, I know it was wild. Like I had to learn, I learned through a relationship that, I would come home from work excited, like, oh man, I got to do this today and I got to play with this. And, next week, this new technology is coming and I'm going to get to do this. And it was very different energy, me coming home, like recharged and excited and happy. And then the other person being like, I hate my job. So that was a struggle. But that was kind of a aha moment for me at some point in my adult life, that I've tried to teach my kids, like, making money is good, but if you can find something you truly love, it makes a huge difference.
That's what I always told my kids. And I feel like I said it more than I probably actually said it, just because it was always on my mind and maybe not on my lips as much. But I always felt like I don't really give a shit what you do, as long as you can pay your own bills and be happy. That's all I want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't want to pay for your life, but I don't want you to be miserable.
Right.
I want you to have fun, do something you enjoy if you can.
Absolutely.
And you can make money at it. So that's got to suck for the other person. Like, you come home and you're like, whoa, my job is amazing. And they're like, shut your mouth.
Well, and it was rough too, right? It's important to have a good partner, and the mother of my children, and we're divorced, but I won't say that was the only thing, but that was something that, at some point became a hot button item.
Really? That became an issue between you two?
Yeah, I think there was definitely some, so I loved my job, did not have a degree. I was doing very well. I'd been promoted a bunch. She hated her job. She had her degree.
She had a degree, right? So she's like, man, this guy gets everything
probably.
handed to him.
And I can see that was rough. I don't know that she handled it well, but
yeah, we're not here to bash people. I'm sure both of you didn't handle things right. Yeah.
No. Yeah. It's important to realize, and I realize that now on my side too. If I am super jazzed and I know that, my fiance has had a bad day.
Yeah. Why don't you shut up, bro?
Yeah. Shut up. Well, work sucked today, man. It was really bad.
Yeah. I get that for sure.
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors.
Warning. Not listening to Fascination Street podcast may cause unexpected side effects. Side effects may include sudden fits of boredom, irrational curiosity about everything you missed, the inability to name your favorite podcast interview, spontaneous ignorance of obscure celebrity stories, talking to coworkers about nothing because you didn't hear the latest episode. Other symptoms may include excessive use of the phrase, wait, what happened? Chronic seriousness with no trace of laughter or delight, unexplainable urge to scroll aimlessly instead of being entertained. In rare cases, not listening may lead to wandering aimlessly through podcast apps, overexposure to true crime reruns, and thinking you're cooler than you actually are. If you find yourself experiencing any of these symptoms, stop what you're doing immediately and download Fascination Street Podcast. Ask your podcaster if Fascination Street Podcast is right for you. Spoiler alert, it is.
Let's get back into it.
I want to talk about Josh.
Okay. So my brother-in-law, I have all kinds of good stories.
I'm going to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Again. So listeners, when he said that Josh was sort of instrumental in how we came to be here today, that is true, because when I did reach out to Chris, and he ended up not being the Chris that I thought he was, in his reply email, which I thought was so sweet and genuine, he said, look, I kind of get this sometimes, not all the time, but I do get this sometimes. I'm not the Chris that you're looking for. And my brother-in-law, Josh, tells me that one of these days I should just accept the interview and then just do it. But I don't know why, but you just were honest about you not being the right guy. And you told me that story about your brother-in-law. And I was like, well, let's do it. This is going to be a blast. So thank you, Josh. I appreciate that. And now tell me about Josh. So I'm assuming that you have a sister.
Yes. Yep. So my sister, Jenny, is 2 years younger than me. We won't get into years, but she came to me so many years ago. She goes, hey, I met this new guy. He's a comedian. And as the older protective big brother, I was like, no.
Absolutely
no.
Oh, sweetheart, you met the wrong guy.
Yeah. So about 2 days later, she called me up. She goes, hey, turn on Comedy Central. Josh has a special on. And I'm thinking like, he's going to be in the audience, or, they're going to talk to him for 2 minutes. No, it was his TV special. So I was like, okay, all right, the guy's at least serious about it and whatever. And then, as I've met him and known him over the years now, he's like a brother. To both me and my brother, we love this guy.
Yeah, like, he's not like your brother. He is now a brother.
Well, yeah, legally, but also in the sense of like, he's my brother. So we're really tight. We love Josh. So yeah, he's a professional comedian. Actually, if I'm allowed to do this, can I give him a little bit of a plug here?
You can go sick.
Okay. So Josh just released like a TV special called Fat Ryan. I know he's got it streaming on different services. So check it out. He's funny. He's also pretty clean. So, I took my 14-year-old to watch when this was taped, and there was probably only a couple red-faced moments, but nothing that was too bad. So anyways, Josh.
Can I give you a tip?
Yeah.
when you're giving shout outs to people?
Yeah.
What's his last name, bro?
Oh God. Yeah. Josh Sneed. I'm sorry. Josh Sneed.
Okay.
So yeah, that would really help. He's just Josh to me.
So Sneed, like Snead?
Sneed.
EED. Okay, cool.
Yep. But no, like you mentioned, I have gotten the wrong Chris Storr thing frequently, and specifically for the director of The Bear. I think I've had other podcast interviews, I've had radio interview requests, all kinds of stuff. And, this is stuff Josh and I talk about sometimes. And the last time I talked to him, he said, seriously, man, the next time you get one of these, just do it.
Really? It was the last time?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, that is so cool.
I know. And so then I got your email and I got really excited. And then, like you said, it was like second paragraph. You were like, if you're not the right Chris Storr. And I was like, oh, damn it. I'm like, I can't do this to him. So that was why you got the reply you did. So yeah, Josh, absolutely. Like that would have never been anything I thought to do. And he saw the humor in that and was like, dude, you really need to do it.
Well, it is hilarious. When I told my wife, I read her the email. I was like, oh, cool. Look, I mean, it's not the right guy, but he hit me back. And this is what he said. And she goes, do it. And I go, what? And she goes, book him. Are you crazy? This is going to be amazing. Do it. And I was like, you're right. Let's do this. Can I read the email?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you care? Because
No, go for
it was so awesome. My favorite part is like the third paragraph because it was so sweet. So, I said all the things I said, and you said, hey, I wish I was him. I receive email for him all the time. I'm just a normal guy living on a street named after an animal in nowhere, Kentucky. My brother-in-law is a comedian, though, and he insists that one of these times I accept the podcast, TV, or newspaper interview and go as myself. But I'm going to sit this one out, as you specifically asked if I was the right Chris. Good luck reaching him, and if you do, tell him I received his receipt for his very generous donation to a For the Kids Foundation, and that if it wasn't illegal, I'd be claiming it on my taxes. Best of luck, Chris Storr, the other one. That was the best email ever. That was so cool. It was that response email that made it happen. Like, that was so
Nice.
dope. So tell me more about Josh. Does Josh know you're doing this right now?
He doesn't actually. So I thought about messaging him beforehand, and I wanted to keep it a surprise. So, this for him, I think he even has his own podcast with, some buddies and stuff. This is normal stuff for him. So, for me, it's exciting and big. But yeah, I'm absolutely, when we're done here, going to tell him that, hey, I gave you a shout out, but I forgot your last name.
Not that I forgot it. I just forgot to mention it.
Yeah. I just didn't mention it. So yeah, I'll absolutely talk to him when we're done here. But no, yeah, Josh is a great guy. We're so happy to have him in the family. I have an excellent niece and nephew because of him. And he's one of those that you wouldn't know he was a comedian, just, even hanging out at family functions and stuff. He doesn't make it his personality.
He's not on 100% of the time.
Yeah, he's not on 100%. He's on a lot, but yeah, it's not his shtick or whatever all the time. So yeah, he's a great guy. Glad my sister found him, even though I was initially apprehensive as the big brother.
Well, you should be. That's a good brother. Streetwalkers, again, it is Josh Sneed, Sneed. His newest special is called Fat Ryan. You can get it for only $7 on disruptorcomedy.com. disruptorcomedy.com. Again, only $7. That is rad as hell. Oh, that means you're an uncle. Look at that. Josh Sneed becomes a dad. We'll check you out. Yeah, he has done a ton of interviews or whatever, podcasts and things.
Yeah.
So that is cool. I really appreciate that, Josh. That was good steering. This is a fun conversation. So, Chris, you're still working at the place that you've been working at for a decade.
Yep.
I know you said that last place, you didn't feel like that was the place you were going to retire from. Do you feel like this place, they're not going to hear this. You can say no. So do you think that this is going to be the place that you retire?
I hope it is. So it's a smaller company, and I think our only challenge is...
So you think you got another 35 years?
I don't know, man. Our biggest problem is I'm probably one of the younger people on the team, and I'm no spring chicken.
Really?
Yeah. So a lot of it's employee owned, and a lot of the people that have been there since kind of the start. They've been there a long time. So I think we've got some challenging years ahead in terms of just trying to find the right people to replace people. Not that we can or won't. It's just, I think it takes some special people.
Yeah, you got to find the right person if
Yeah.
you're going to replace somebody who's been a cog since the beginning.
Exactly.
For sure.
Exactly. So, but yeah, I think as long as that works out smoothly, I think we have a good product. We've got good people.
So it's employee owned and you're an employee.
Yep.
Are you also an owner?
Yep.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Was that part of your name of your price?
No, I think that actually
You're like,
was
okay, I'll name my price. I want 25% of the company. Like, what?
2 buckets of KFC chicken per month. Actually, I don't think I even knew that was, I knew it was employee owned.
I want brand new Nikes every week.
Yeah. So no, it wasn't part of the initial package. I think that was a pleasant surprise after the first year. So no, it's great. It's very family. It's, I remember my first couple of weeks and they know this story. So if any of them hear this, they'll know that I love them to death. But I went on site for a go live with a couple people I hadn't met before. One person I'd worked with at the book company. So I knew him and I knew his temper and everything else. The other two, I did not. The one coworker, it was hot. We were in California, unair conditioned warehouse. It was like 100 degrees. People weren't really trained right there before we got there. Inventory was off. It was a mess. So at some point I was looking for that coworker and I came up on a mezzanine and found her. She was kicking a box and just cussing. And I had come from such a prim and proper work environment at the mill, which sounds crazy, but it really was. They put a lot of whatever into professional development. I just remember thinking that first week or two, I was like, holy shit, what did I get myself into? But I think that's par for the course in working for a warehouse or working in a warehouse, and wouldn't change it.
So when you came across this woman who was throwing a fit and kicking boxes, did you whip off your ascot and be like, well, I say, how dare you, lady?
So actually, I don't remember how it happened, but that was the trip. At some point I said something and I was like, I did a kind of a Cartman voice and I was like, God damn it, Kenny. And somehow I became Kenny. So my nickname at work is Kenny.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I kind of messed with the coworker there and I wrote an app for her phone while we were there on site. 10 years ago, the Whip app was really popular. You could shake your phone and it would whoosh, make the whip sound.
Sure. I consider it the Indiana Jones app, but go ahead.
Okay. My bad. So, I use an Android phone, so I've got the knockoff. It's the Whip app. I don't, Indiana Jones is iPhone.
That's branded. It's some branding.
Yeah. So basically made it when her phone shook, it would play the sound clip from South Park of, God damn it, Kenny. And I'll never forget, I wrote it. She installed it on her phone. She thought it was kind of funny, but it also worked when the phone was off. So she had stuck her phone in her pocket. We worked a really hard day, probably a 12-hour day. We were at the hotel bar with some other coworkers that night, had a couple drinks. I think the elevator was out of service or something. And we had to run up a couple flights of stairs, all of us, to just call it a night. I remember she started kind of jogging up the stairs and her phone was going, got it. We all laughed so hard. We probably woke people up in that hotel. They were probably pissed, but it was good times.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's fun. So you just, every once in a while, you'll just get a wild hair and you'll just write a program for something nutty?
Yeah, that kind of happens.
What's the last one you wrote just for no reason?
For no reason?
Not getting paid to, yeah. What's the last time you wrote one that was just for fun?
So I guess for fun and not really paid, my son and I, both sons, did Boy Scouts. They did Pinewood Derby. I created some kind of little timer for them and wrote an app to basically they can keep track of their times on this test track we had. I guess that was for fun. We did kind of end up selling it. We found a guy that sold the test track and I was like, hey, I made this thing. And I'm like, would you want to resell it? And he did for a while. And then COVID hit and that kind of all tanked. Didn't really make a lot of money there. It was for fun.
So you had two sons in the Scouts and you participated heavily, apparently, and even with the Pinewood Derby and all that shit. Ladies and gentlemen, this is brought to you by work-life balance and being able to work from home.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors. Let's get back into it.
My wife wants me to ask you, since it was sort of a cooking-based drama, even though it's up for best comedy every year. I don't know why. I'm supposed to ask you, what do you eat, bro?
Oh, man.
Tell me about your diet.
My diet. Oh, wow. It's terrible right now. I need to do better.
All right. So fish sticks and French fries. Got it. Little dino nuggets.
A lot of chicken. We're big fans of the Costco. So, typical week is probably a couple chicken-based meals.
Now, are you getting like the $5 rotisserie chicken, or are you getting like the frozen breasts? What are you doing there at Costco?
So we're getting the not frozen, but the cold chicken tender packs, which like they kill everybody on price there, man. If you're not up on that, it's a good deal.
So over in the refrigerated section, the tenders, it's a good deal. It's a good price.
Yeah, refrigerated section. Yeah, I don't even know how many is in each thing, but it's like 4 big packs. And so we normally stick one in the fridge, put the other 3 in the freezer. And yeah, we'll either grill up some chicken. I make a pretty mean chicken parmesan. I'll do that every now and then. My fiance does taco night. We use turkey instead of ground beef to try to keep things on the slim side. You know what? I'm gonna plug a local restaurant just because it was my fiance's birthday this week. We went for the first time. She's begged me and begged me. You can never get in.
Much like the Bear, it's a restaurant nobody can get into. Bro, you gotta drop your name when you're trying to go to restaurants.
You're right. Actually, I should, especially with the restaurants. I hadn't even thought of that.
I mean, what is wrong with you? Hi, my name is Christopher Storer, and I would like a reservation for 2 people. Like,
right?
Come on.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. It'd probably work better in LA, but yeah, no.
Oh, it would work better everywhere. Everybody knows who that guy is now. Do it.
That's true. So, a little Italian place though called Soto in downtown Cincinnati.
How do you spell it?
Sotto.
Sotto. In downtown where?
Cincinnati.
Oh, it would definitely work in Cincinnati if you dropped your name.
There you go.
Yeah, the biggest cities for sure.
Well, but it was her birthday this week, and she's been wanting to go. Luckily planned well enough ahead to get a reservation for dinner there. And oh my God, the gnocchi, I would eat that every day of the week from there. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was probably one of the best meals I've had that I can recall in a long time.
Tell me about the sauce or what was with it. What was with this gnocchi?
So, I mean, it was just a normal red sauce. The breading that was on it was really, really good.
It was a breaded gnocchi?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there were some breadcrumbs on it, and it was freaking good. Now, her and I tend to, a lot of times we'll just do appetizers and split them or whatever. Like, we don't eat a ton. So in this case, we got that. And I'm trying to remember what the other thing was called. I'm going to be honest, I couldn't read most of the menu. So
you can't read? It's because you didn't go get a degree, bro.
Yeah, I know, man. I can't read Italian. But we got some kind of fancy ravioli. And so it was kind of nice to be able to have the gnocchi just kind of on the heavier side with this ravioli that had like a white sauce. It was really, really good.
Love it. And everybody, again, that was Soto, Sotto, in downtown Cincinnati. A rave review from Chris Storer.
Right? I mean, I feel like I should get a free meal out of that or something.
And a lot of that TV show, The Bear, it revolves around reviews.
Oh, really? Yeah, I really need to go back and watch it now. It's just one of those, never make the time.
I'm surprised you haven't, considering how many times you have been mistaken for that person.
Yeah, I really should. I know we said we weren't going to talk a ton about it, but I think the funniest story from that was last year. I think season 3, somebody was really, really upset about it. I got a pretty nasty email, thinking I was the other Chris Storer, and the guy just went on this huge rant. And I replied back completely smart ass. And it was like, oh, well, if you didn't like that. And I just made up this whole plot line, and I've never watched the show. And I was like, well, this is going to happen. And Susie's going to, and the dude realized I was just not the right guy and full of shit. And he replied back and was like, thanks, I've calmed down. And that was actually kind of funny. Yeah, I should take a breather.
So was this not a famous person? This was just a viewer who got pissed off enough to write a letter?
Yeah. Yes. I get them all the time. I've actually gotten some since you reached out to me that are like, hey, I love this season, or I can't wait till next season, or like, hey, I'm a chef and I really appreciate your view. And so almost all of it's positive. I think I've only ever had 2 negative. And that guy, I was like, you know what? Like, I'm going to screw with him a little bit. I think I might have had a little bourbon that night.
Well, you're in Kentucky. You better have had bourbon that night.
Yeah, absolutely. And so a couple paragraphs of just complete and utter bullshit, having never watched the show. And the guy appreciated it. So
that's why you got to watch the show, so that the next time you can write one that's believable.
That's a good point. So I'm going to take that advice, and now we'll probably read some kind of crazy leak on the Reddit or something.
Oh my God, I can't wait. That's going to be amazing. You're in Kentucky. I got to ask you, Give me your favorite bourbon. What are you drinking these days?
Oh man. So the cabinet runneth over. My favorite actually right now, and this is crazy, and all the purists are going to burn me at the stake. My favorite band is the Smashing Pumpkins, and they partnered with True Spirits, and they made it's a tea infused bourbon. I don't know if you know the Smashing Pumpkins or Billy Corgan at all, but Billy grew up in Chicago. He has a tea shop called Madame Zuzu's. That's why it's tea infused. And I'm telling you, because it's summer right now, you throw some of that bourbon in with a little bit of ginger ale. It's a really good hot night, a couple ice cubes sitting on the deck drink.
Nice.
That's probably my favorite off the wall. Normally when I'm traveling, it's hard to get certain things. So typically I'm a Woodford or a Four Roses guy. I've had Pappy, places where you could just buy, a single shot. Honestly, I like Four Roses just as much as the Pappy I've tried. So I'm not the Chris store that can afford a $2,000 bottle of Pappy. So I'll stick to the $40 Four Roses.
$2,000? Was it on discount? Is it on a clearance? Where are you getting $2,000 bottle of Pappy?
Yeah, I haven't even looked recently. Yeah, you're right.
Just real quick about Billy Corgan. I don't know if this is a bit and they're just fucking with us, but Billy Corgan and Bill Burr, the comedian Bill Burr.
Yeah.
They were on a podcast or an interview or whatever, and somehow or another, now again, I don't know if this is all bullshit, but this is fairly recent, like in the last couple of weeks, they discovered that they have the same father.
I think I saw that. I couldn't tell if it was bullshit. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I can't tell if they're bullshitting because it seemed so...
I feel like it's bullshit, but
serious.
There's no telling.
There is no telling. So yeah, there's no telling, but that just came to my mind. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. That he's been in the news recently for that, and we'll probably never find out.
Yeah. Big Bill, man, will never let you know. It's like Big Pharma, man. They're just going to keep us guessing.
Yeah. And why would they both be named Bill?
Both bald too, right?
Yes.
That also starts with a B.
Oh my God. Chris, are you on social media? Like, where can people find more about you? And
not really, man. I don't have any of the things, which is wild for being an IT guy. But no, I mean, I'm on the Facebook.
The Facebook. You don't have any social media.
No, and that's about it, man. Don't do drugs, kids. Stay off.
On your The Facebook account, is it just family stuff?
Yeah.
Like, are we trying to drive people there or not really?
No. Like, there's nothing. I mean, there's nothing to drive to, right? Like, I legitimately am the averagest of averages dudes from Kentucky, other than I get to work from home.
I'm staring at you, and you have what appears to be most or all of your teeth. You're not the average dude from Kentucky.
Man, come on.
I'm just kidding. All my Kentucky friends, I love you. I lived there for a long time. I love you. I've had a ton of people on the show from Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Chris, before I let you go, man, is there anything we didn't talk about or I didn't mention that you specifically wanted to talk about today?
No, man. Thanks for having me on. I've never done anything like this, so I hope it's actually usable.
Oh, are you kidding? This was a blast.
And it just doesn't end up like getting deleted.
Yeah.
But no, it was fun. I appreciate you doing this and kind of playing along here. Let me shout out my company and my brother-in-law. That was fun.
Your brother-in-law, what's his name?
Josh. It's just Josh. Just Google Josh. You'll find Josh.
Just Josh Comedy. You know that comedy Josh guy.
Josh.
Yeah, the funny Josh dude. JoshFunny.com.
There you go.
Well, I had a blast. I thought this was really fun. It was exactly what I wanted it to be. I went into it with no expectations, hoping that it would be awesome, and it was. I think you're a delight. You're very playful, and you tell fun stories. And I say at the beginning of every episode, man, I started this because I think regular, everyday people have a fascinating story, and I just wanted to share them. Bro, you started your career that you're in right now, you started it at 12 years old. Like, what?
Pretty wild. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It goes back to what you said earlier, like what you hope for your kids is to find something that you love to do.
There you go.
If you can make money at it, cool. But the important thing is find something you're into. And, it shows up in, not just the money, but the happiness factor. Like, you come home, I mean, sure, it cost you a marriage, but you come home and you're excited about how awesome your day was at work. That means a lot. And the journey of this thing we call life is to have fun while we're here. So I think that's really good advice.
Absolutely. Well, thanks a lot, man. I had a blast. This was great. If you ever do get to have the Real Chris store on, tell him I've got that receipt. Probably needs that for his taxes.
I got the receipts, bro. You said the real. No, fuck that. You're the real Chris Storer. If I ever have the other Chris Storer on, I'm going to have you zoom in right in the middle of it.
Oh, nice. That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
All right, Chris. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day and your hectic computer programming, tiny little Department 56 Christmas houses schedule to hang out and let us get to know you a little bit better on Fascination Street, man. I really appreciate it.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
I had a blast, and you have a great rest of your week.
You too, man. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Opening music is the song FSP Theme, written, performed, and provided by Ambush Ven.
Closing music is from the song Say My Name off the 2021 album Underdog Anthems, used with permission from Jax Hollow. If you like the show, tell a friend. Subscribe and rate and review the show on iTunes and wherever else you download podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. All the episodes are available there as well. Check me out on Vero at Fascination Street Pod and TikTok at Fascination Street Pod. And again, thanks for listening.